Consider nobody.
Yo, it's your boy Rick Bell, and when I want to hear some real shit, I listen to Consider Nobody. They keep it 100.
Oh yeah. Couple of nobodies you should fucking listen to. I just caught the 40, I might let it bang on them. I might rip my heart, I pour out all my pain on them. I might wanna shine, cop a couple chains on them. I might wanna stun and pull up in that Range Rover. Half a pint of lean.
Yeah. Alright, yo, it's another week. Consider Nobody. We got a special guest today. You guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Aaliyah Abraham.
And I'm Tim Turane.
Moving to the mic a little bit.
Tim Turane.
All right. Aaliyah Abraham is coming from the Blaque Resource Network.
Yes.
Representing here today. And we got our regular people, Alex, Red.
Yo.
Yo, don't be shy, y'all.
Yeah.
yo, let's try that again, yo.
No, you know what it is?
You know what I mean?
I'm more vibrant in the room. This is weird to meet new people.
Well, I told you could have came. You know what I mean? So.
I couldn't, man.
Yeah, all right. Let's try it again, though. Yo, introduce yourself, Alex Zephyr.
Yeah, Mr. Douchebag Swag. How we doing this weekend, everybody? Enjoying ourselves?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Douchebag Swag.
All right. Red Wonder. That's it. Plain and simple. Just hanging out, talking shit.
Let's
Miss
go.
y'all.
All right.
Dope.
And pleasure meeting you as well.
Yes.
All right. Yo, I had the great opportunity of sitting and watching Blaque Resource Network do their thing. Aaliyah is an amazing leader for her team. I wanted to just jump into it. What made you? Where does the Blaque Resource Network start? What was your initial vision, and where are we today?
Sure, yeah. So it actually didn't start with me. My good friend Dane Chong had this idea a couple years ago where we were going to put out this, I don't want to call it a circular, some kind of magazine thing in the community called Jamaica Avenues, right? So we wanted to do that, and then time passed. You have ideas. You sit around, yeah, we're going to do it, and it didn't happen. So a couple years later, I was a part of this group called Black Long Island. And I was like, oh, that's nice, but I'm from Queens. And I saw how they were going and how they were supporting each other and building from that end. And I was like, we need something like this in Queens. Let's take this Jamaica Avenues and put it online. But then we were like, this is beyond Jamaica. What can we do? So we came up with the Blaque Resource Network. BLA is for Black, QUE is for Queens. And then we just kind of started this. We were both already active in the community. So when it came to just putting everybody together online, it was pretty simple, and it certainly took off way bigger than we anticipated at the time, but we're very grateful for it.
Okay. So you said, in saying that, it took off really way bigger. And running a podcast, I definitely understand the struggles of producing and putting something together. Absolutely, bringing people together every week is difficult. We've been doing this 3 years now, and these people coming together, I don't pay them anything. So, how is it? What are some of the things that you do for your people, like to bring everybody together to like keep this train going, like?
Yeah. We do a number of things. We have, now that COVID really kind of brought everybody out. It was a horrible thing to happen, but it really brought people together. So I'll speak about what we've done specifically to answer the COVID issue. And we've had mental health events, meditation events. We've had, public speaking events for college kids. We've had open mic nights. We've had all kind of different virtual events, but we've also taken that offline as well. Our biggest effort right now is our Share Health project, where we feed anywhere from 800 to 1,000 families each week with boxes of fresh produce. So we've done that. And prior to that, we had a campaign where we were feeding frontline workers. So we would collect money in the group, buy foods from local Black-owned restaurants, and then bring it to the hospitals. So those are some of the things that we're working on right now. And a big part of what we do is supporting the Queens-based Black-owned restaurants. We are trying to make it cool before all of this new just kind of push to support Black happened, to shop Black and what that means and what supporting your community looks like and how good it can feel. And if we kind of band together as a community and say, yo, what did you buy today from a Black-owned restaurant? Oh, I got them donuts. Yo, the donut man is like, yo, I just made thousands of dollars from your one post from that group, just because everybody felt so good and just a new sense of community from just being a part of this group. And originally, I didn't think of that. This is not why I did it, and I'm glad it kind of just came up on its own. So those are some of the things that we've been working on.
I can definitely
That's
attest to
good, too.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You say something?
Because when you put the word out there, people will go out of their way to support.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And it surprises me. He's like, "Yo, I just made $3,000 because you put up one post to buy my cookies or my drink." For me, there's nothing. It just posted it. That's it. But because we kind of built that community, it's kind of like, that's what we're doing this week. Bet that's what we're doing. Everybody go out and buy those cookies.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
dope.
what it's kind of become.
Yo, I like the when you said about things taking a life of its own,
Yeah.
because like a lot of this podcast is like you put the idea out there, you just throw it towards the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So where Black Resource Network is today and what you guys are doing with the Zoom calls and the Friday night drink specials and things like that, I thought that was really cool. Where do you see yourselves from as COVID ends and you
Right.
guys coming back into the real world? Where we see Black Resource Network going forward?
I mean, yeah, that's a great question, because who knows what the real world is, So we all have to kind of figure it out as we go. The long-term plan was always to be able to buy property and actually own your community. You're repping this hood and you don't own it.
Yeah.
So kind of addressing
Oh, yeah.
that problem and helping businesses really grow and be able to offer employment and help with their customer service and help with their loans and then have the community invest in those businesses, as well as build just more diversity in businesses. Needs to be some Black-owned nail salons and some Black-owned Asian-inspired food restaurants and diversity in the community. So we really want to have a hand in more of the business side of, everything that we're doing. That's kind of where we've been drawn organically to kind of that side, as well as address other problems that might come up in the community, especially when it comes to education and healthcare. So we try to address problems as they come to us, but our main focus is probably going to be business and acquiring new businesses for our community.
I like that. And speaking on problems, you guys had also were part of the protest that happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
With the some of the leadership from 103rd.
Yeah.
Tim, go ahead and tell us more about you getting the protest started. What was your initial vision? Where did you see this going, and how do you feel about where it went?
It basically the church reached out, the selling church, and I was actually kind of shocked that they even reached out to me.
What was the church again?
The Excelling Church.
Excelling Church. Okay.
I was kind of shocked they even reached out to me to even be a part of the initial planning phase at all, considering it's a church and considering who I am. So I was honored just for that. And we had about an 2-hour conversation. And then the next day, we were planning for it, time. The next day I get a flyer. That was my next text. Like, bing, this is what's happening on Sunday. Y'all rocking with us? Sure. That's how we kind of do things.
Yep.
I already know how Aaliyah works, and like everything I do, I'm gonna bring Aaliyah in. I don't care what it is.
So what's your relationship?
So we are friends. We are sisters and brothers.
I mean,
We
business
are,
wise,
like, no, this is
like how do you?
That's it.
Yeah.
we are friends. We are
As
sisters and
project come
brothers.
up,
Like,
we
okay.
adjust it together.
it's not.
That's
It's
dope.
not like
That's dope. It's like a partnership. Y'all got each other's
Yeah.
back. That's
Yeah.
what's
okay,
up.
and that's all it. And for me, this has been for years. I think you were there when we did the Soldiers, the show over at Delta Company.
Okay. Yeah. For sure.
She was one of the performers there.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you look back at the tape,
I was?
if you look on the YouTube,
Okay.
Oh, we got you.
We got to go back and look at that.
Yeah, me too.
it's on the mic booth, right? The mic booth YouTube. You'll see Leah in the room. She's a singer, and we're talking about 10 years ago,
dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
right before I think it was Afghanistan they were deploying to.
So this is a long time friendship.
A long time, which is why I can't just say like
It's not just business.
it's not just business. It's never just business. So when I call Leah, it's like, Leah, this is what want to do this protest.
Let's do
All
it.
right, put it in. Let's
Yeah.
do it. It was like no question that didn't care who was involved. Like a lot of that happens a lot. Who's involved? So the vision of the protest, it was just everybody was moved by the same thing. Like we want to make a statement. We don't want to start the war today, but we got to make a strong enough statement that people is going to listen all around the world. So how do you do that? It doesn't take 1 million people to make the news all around the world. It takes people that all believe in the same exact thing. And we believe that we can actually make a statement together. And people showed up, you know.
They did.
It started out I got there at 10:15. Pastor Ty got there at 10:25, leaving the precinct. He was already out there. One more person
50
showed up.
people.
Before you know it,
Yeah.
it's 50. Then it's 100. And we all got Blaque on. And we all get together. And then people are talking. And the vision's kind of unfolding as we're going along. So what's next? What's the call to action? What are we going to ask the police to do? Or what is it that we want from the police? We had that conversation from day one. We didn't know until that day. We said, you know what? They hate kneeling so much. We're going to ask them to kneel with us. So we're going to take a knee. Since they hate kneeling so much, we want to ask them to do something that we know that they hate doing. They did it. They did not have to do that.
And all of them didn't do it.
And all of them didn't do it. Let's make sure it's clear. There's some that was like,
Yeah.
am I supposed to, now that the commander did it, am I supposed to join in?
Yeah.
So this was a personal
Shout out to the
thing.
commander though for
That was the moment too, right? Wasn't that like on the cover of the Daily News? the
Yes.
other day?
It was
Wide.
worldwide, man.
It was no, but yeah, that's where I saw it, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this shit was spreading.
Yeah.
Mhm.
CNN covered it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I went live in a Black Resource Network, and then from that, the borough president reposted it. Then the mayor reposted it. Then
Wow.
the governor reposted it. Then CNN reposted it. Then Fox 5 and CBS. Then
Yeah.
Australia, and then
Hold up.
Japan, and the Ukraine, and then it just went crazy. You know.
Oh
Wow.
shit.
Wow. So how does what's a Black Resource? How do they help with this protest? You guys promoted it on the
We
network.
just
I
promoted
imagine?
it. That's all it was. Tim was a part of it. Tim was like, "This is what we doing." All right, we promoted it. We really didn't. It didn't. When I shot the video, that's when it became okay. The Black Resource Network was connected to it because it just kind of brought it to a different level because they're just everybody in the group just shared it, and now it's up to millions of views. Or from my one little phone that was about to die,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, I got 4% left. Nah, let's just waste it out. Like it was a classic story, and it really blew up from that.
No, that's history.
Yeah, that's
History.
it.
Like
It was
legit
random.
history.
It was random.
So talk to me, Tim, about because I run into you. I was late, so I'm just gonna be honest.
I was gonna say nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it funky. Yeah, there's no reason to lie.
I was gonna say
You know what I
That
mean?
day?
Yeah, yo, he
That day
told
he
me
was
to be
late.
there at 12.
And you see where he lives.
I got there like 12:40. You feel me? I'm thinking like,
I
yo,
told him
it's
to
a
be
protest.
there. I called him at 9 o'clock and said I'm on my way. Called him at 10 o'clock, said I'm here.
Yo,
We started marching at 11. He
Listen.
showed up at 1:15.
Showed up at 1.
listen, I'm on my shit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and try to front.
That's
you know
my
what I mean?
brother.
Yo, I was at the back of the protest. man.
I wasn't even,
was
by the time
catching
I
up.
got there, it was done. I ain't even gonna lie. I had people hitting me up as I'm walking, like, "Yo, what's going on the Ave?
It was
Do
good.
you know them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I'm trying to get there." You know what I mean? And
Trying
then
to get there.
I had forgot something. I had to come back home. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, but I run into Tim at the end, and I can see the energy that he has. You know what I mean? You could definitely felt like I missed a moment.
Nah, you never miss it. You
It's
stood
like
there.
that.
But it be
You
like
don't-
that
you don't
sometimes.
know,
You
like-
don't know. But
Yeah.
tell me about the energy that you're feeling in the moment, because I feel like I caught the after effects of it. And you guys were there. What does that feel like in the moment? Cops take a knee. You're on the Ave in your hometown, and how do you feel? What's going on? What's in your mind?
I mean, for me, it was a lot to process. It's like what's happening? What does this mean? At first, it was like, okay, are they making fun of George Floyd? I don't know what's happening. And then
Yeah.
people started yelling, "Thank you."
Because
And
that
I'm
was my
like,
initial reaction too.
"Thank
Like,
you."
are they trying to
what's
like?
it? Yeah,
is
I
this
didn't-
satire?
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't. It was a lot to process, and it kind of still is because what does that mean? But
When you
was
know it's
shocking.
real?
We'll see. I mean, let's be honest. You know, it's real for me when changes happen. I mean, it was a nice gesture. It's a great first step. It was a grand gesture. And I'm grateful for that first step and how that can influence other people. But it's still kind of confusing.
Yeah, I think when it actually happened,
If I might ask, right? Because I'm curious. You talk about a grand gesture, and you might see how do you think this is actually going to impact the younger generation? Because we're more aware of it. We're older. We have history to pull on. We're pulling on what happened in the LA riots. We're pulling on what happened with Crown Heights, and so we have a context. You know,
Yes.
we have the past and the present, and the future. How do you feel this impacts your kids? Because I feel like some of us here have kids, some of us don't.
My son was there. right? He's 6. And he was so excited. He was like, the bad guys are good now. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know if
There
I'm
you
supposed
go.
to say yes or no. Or I don't know what that means, you know? So that is a good point, that how does it impact the next generation of people?
You know, it's important that symbolism is created, right? Because it actually set a point where this was the day that a dialogue can really be can happen, right? For the last 5-6 years, kneeling was considered political by the police department, and to this day, it's still considered political. However, the communications department now has to change that thought process, right? And they got to let go of some of the leeches that they have on our police officers to allow them to express themselves like that, because that's community policing. You can't community police with controls that are unfair to the community. So I do see now that they are a little bit more receptive of issues. Just for example, the kid that got spit at.
Yeah.
Right. We take this situation that happened literally maybe 5 days after. Right. The cop spit at about 10 or 15 kids between 13 and 16 years old.
Do you want to give the full story on that?
I don't even get the full story. Very brief. And Joe was with me when I went up to the precinct. Right. Talked with the cop. Not the cop that did the spitting, but the cop that made the arrest. Made sure that kid was secure and understood that he had a backing in the community. 2 days later, the cop that did the spitting was suspended. I believe it was the next day he was suspended. That goes to show that there is an effort to improve the community relations. I'm not somebody that wants to continuously think about, as everybody on this call knows, war. We understand that everybody here on this call, for the most part, understand that we can go to war right here in America. But we don't want to do that because we understand the ramifications of war, right? We understand that it's not really something that nobody wants. Everybody wants better for their family, but they don't want to give up the ultimate sacrifice to make that happen. So we have to dialogue. We have to be diplomatic in everything that we do. And we have to take even gestures of kneeling and take it seriously and say, you know what, this is a first step, because if I don't think like that, I'm going to be ready for war. Like a lot of us, we're ready for war. So I have to think this was a real gesture. I have to think this was the turning point. I have to think that this meant that we can move forward.
Yeah, you gotta be optimistic if you want the change to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Tim,
you get stuck.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, if you get stuck with it's hard because the trust is like practically gone.
I mean, it
gotta
was just
see-
confusing
like
for
you
me.
said,
I've
yeah, you said it. You
seen
gotta-
videos of police playing basketball and doing the cha-cha slide and all of that great stuff, and then nothing happened. So,
Exactly.
I don't,
The gesture is kind, but now we got to see the work.
yes, we
get
got to
done.
see the
So let me ask this question then. What do you think of Black people in law enforcement? How does a Black person operate in law enforcement? Because there's a conversation around, well, it's Black people versus the police.
It's
If you
not.
have a Black person in police, then when does one stop being police? When does one stop being Black? And do we encourage our children to believe in the system that we're raising them to say the system doesn't work for you? Because part of it is the kids are coming up and saying, well, the system didn't work for my parents. This is the position they're taking. Why would I invest in it? Why would I vote for it? How do you invest in it? How do you believe in it?
You have to believe in the system because the system is where we're at, right? You have to work in it unless you're ready to destroy it.
Well, that's the place we're in, right?
Right. I mean, if you're ready to destroy it, you can't destroy it by words. That's what I'm saying. So since nobody's really ready for war, we have to figure out diplomatic ways to improve the system instead of destroying it. If we're going to destroy the system, we got to take the same approach that they took in the Revolutionary War. You understand? We're not ready to take that stance. I don't think we're ready. There's some of us that are, but we're not going that route. So we have to understand, accept that the system, there is a problem, and we have to work harder to change that problem. We have to work diligent. Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. And people have been saying that way before Michelle Obama, but I believe it resonates more with her because of the situation that she was in as a Black first lady, right? I'm pretty sure she was getting, I don't even understand what she's been through, right? None of us ever will, to be a Black president of the United States of America every single day dealing with racists and phone calls for your job and Trump's trying to take your job away from you and calling you non-American. It's kind of like calling a veteran a Russian spy. It's offensive. It's bothersome. But we have to continue to go high. The reason why we go high, because eventually good always prevails. No matter what situation it is, no matter how bad it is, good will always prevail in those situations.
You do understand that everybody thinks they're on the side of good, though, right? I mean, that's the tricky part of it.
No, I say good always prevail.
Right,
and then
but
say
both
who's good.
sides, they're good. Both sides have an agenda they're pushing. So that's my thing. When you say good always prevails, the same way that as Black people who are, going high, if you will, there are other parties who don't see themselves as going low, but doing what they must do.
Then they're not going to prevail. You see, you understand what I said? I say good prevails. Whether or not your definition of good is what you're doing, that's irrelevant. What good is good, and good will always prevail. And that's where I stand. It's not about what I'm doing is good and what you're doing is bad. It's good will prevail. Whatever that good is, that's what's going to win.
Tim, I want. Oh, you saying, Alex?
I hear it.
You know what I'm saying?
Tim, I want to go back to I wanted to catch your in the moment. What was your energy like? What's going through your head?
My head, I saw them kneel. Like, they kneeled. I was happy that they kneeled. I said, okay, they actually did that, because in the military, there's things that you can't do, and you better not do it unless you're ready for the ramifications what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Your career.
Yeah.
You understand? So they put their careers on the line for that. Because I knew it was against company policy. It's a communications policy. It's not a law. It's a policy within NYPD. Kneeling is political. And it's a political stance. And so they put their careers on the line to take that kneel, which is why you have another cop from Manhattan, I wish I remembered his name, who's wrote a whole apology to his whole department for taking a kneel. He said he regrets kneeling. That's not you see what I'm saying? Like, he regrets it because he's more worried about his career and his life.
Yeah.
Whereas this cop, he wasn't concerned about his own personal gain. He was more concerned with what's the right thing to do right now. And I respected that.
Yeah.
Just like I respect the National Guard soldiers that put down their shields in Tennessee, the National Guard soldiers that walked with the protesters in LA, the National Guard soldiers that all around the world that understand, because at the end of the day, we are still members of the community for real.
For real.
Yeah, man. Especially them, because those are like your neighbors.
Yes.
You sending them. That's why I was so scared when he made that announcement to send in the National Guard. I'm like, this is the worst thing that's gonna happen.
I thought it was great. I knew that because this goes back to it's the good is going to prevail. Finally, you actually got community policing. You had to bring in the National Guard. The National Guard knows how to police the community because they're from the community. They're legit from Jamaica, Queens. They're not living in Northport, Long Island, coming to police us over here. Some of them are, but they also recognize that Dominique's from here, Turane's from here. We can't be wilding out because it could be his mom's for real.
And I can speak on that too. For Sandy, there was a moment during Sandy where we were giving out, if you guys remember, we were first responders, so we were giving out supplies by Long Beach. And we had an issue with command where they didn't want to go to the hood, so to speak, right? The hood was like over the bridge behind a McDonald's on Long Beach Road. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, like, we asked about initially because we noticed that we were only going to particular neighborhoods, right? And not to say that, for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. For me personally, I'm looking at folks pull up in Mercedes talking about, let me get a bottle of water and whatever. And I'm going to give it to you because that's what I'm here for. It's not my job to decide who gets what. It's my job to hand it out. But if we can afford to give this out, why are we not in, the neighborhood where my folks are? Because my folks is walking, when we seeing older people walk with shopping carts and they're telling us they walk 3 miles to get here and there's nothing near them, that definitely affects us. So I remember at a certain point where we just stopped working. Like, well, we ain't gonna do nothing. I think Tim had came over and he had said something like, they're not trying to go XYZ, so shit is about to be a dub. And I was like, well, that's it. Just sat down. You know what I mean? And it was nothing. It was nothing like, and in that moment, command saw that, this is about to be a problem. So what do you want to do? Because there was black people in our unit at all levels. So it wasn't just, junior enlisted NCOs. There was black officers and there was black people in the unit. So it was like, if you don't want to make this an issue now, because we can get on the phone and start reaching out to folks and bring some light to the situation. And so what happened was they ended up giving us a set of supplies. And then we ended up doing like independent convoys back and forth to our location to personally deliver it to these neighborhoods. And when we got there, I remember like people coming out the buildings crying because they just couldn't get to it. So they had been there for a week without water, without lights. So seeing us show up with supplies and food and shit like that, it was good. So I could definitely speak to what Tim is saying. Just having people that are aware, having people in those ranks, having that diversity, really like, you know, because we're not going to be able to blow up the system, and nobody's really ready to go to war. Yeah. Most people can't live without their day-to-day needs. You know, so before everybody start talking that tough shit, stop using running water for a little bit. Yeah. Don't use no lights. Put your phone away. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Don't go to the grocery store. Don't buy nothing from no restaurants. You know, figure out where you're going to get your food from on the street. Because that's what war is. Yes, there's no resupply. Yeah. You feel me? So the idea that we get caught up with the, oh, you know, we're going to go out here. No, you ain't going to do shit. You know what I mean?
You ain't going home afterwards.
Ain't ready to give up seamless and none of that.
Nah, we're not. You know what I'm saying? So we need to rebuild. We need to rebuild from internal, from the inside. And we need folks that represent us and come from our communities, in my opinion, in order to make these changes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But yo, personally, I love what you guys are doing. Tim calls me all the time. And I'll drop everything I'm doing and be like, yo, listen, I got a boogie. And I've done it in the most like, yo, I gotta go. Yeah. Okay. You know, so I love what we're doing. I love what the movement is like, because I don't like to just talk about shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like to really get out and do something. And seeing what you're doing with the Black Resource Network for me was like, all right, she's doing something. So it was like, yo, I want to be able to support in whatever fashion as a podcast, as a network, you know what I mean, to make sure we get you guys' voices elevated and let people know. Yeah. But I don't want to dominate the conversation. Though, so you guys get.
Well, I will mention that we're doing a rally tomorrow on the steps of Queensborough Hall. It's a rally against economic injustice. So if you're available, you should stop by.
For sure. Tim put me onto that.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
We'll be there at 3:45.
Yep.
You got to be there at 2 o'clock.
Yes, a fact.
You.
That's a fact. Yeah, you. Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, man. I'm gonna be there. So Tim, let's talk about what you guys got going on right now.
What, the campaign? Yeah, we running. And I say we because it's we.
Where we running?
People.
Where we running to?
People. We're running City Council District 27.
Oh shit!
It's time to get into the politics because we have to understand all pieces that our community needs, which also means government and politics. These are things that I don't like politics. You know that. I believe it adds too much red tape and it slows the process down. However, there's ways you can change that. And like I said, to my point of understanding the police and that kneel and that symbolic and understanding, okay, I got to be optimistic and we can move forward. I got to take that same approach when I'm thinking about what's going on in our own community and how can we improve quality of life issues, which are always there, but also how can we actually engage the people that don't have? How can we fix the poverty? How can we fix the homelessness? How can we change the thought process of our veterans coming home and not having real jobs and real employment? How can we improve our medical and our health care? How can we change the mindset of each community member? And you can't change all of them at the same time. But there's ways you can engage these people the correct way. And I just feel like we're not using all the resources that we have to engage our community correctly. In March, we found $2 trillion to fight COVID-19. $2 trillion out of nowhere. You're telling me we can't find that type of money to engage our community correctly? You think it's going to be about? It's not all about new police stations. It's not about new police cars. That's not how we properly engage. And I don't want to trade jail cells for psych wards. Because that's what it's leaning towards. All this money getting pushed into mental health and everybody thinking they're mental health counselors or mental health experts. They're not. Just because someone screamed at you, well, you really did something effed up to that person, and that's probably why they screamed at you. But it doesn't mean they have mental health issues all the time. And the way that we go after cops when they try to apply public health law, although they cannot quote their public health laws, we have to also hold regular people to that same standard who will be able to now, as we start to increase the budget in the mental health and public health, that they don't overstep their powers putting you in the hospital and convincing people that you were crazy. That's
or
more
trying to get
dangerous
you
than
on
anything else.
some type of medication where you get addicted to that shit.
Yes. It's a lot easier for to take your gun
Yeah,
rights
exactly.
away.
It's way easier to be like, yo, here, just take these pills. I'll see you in a month.
Especially in our community. But Tim is really modest. You know, Tim's doing a lot of work in the community, and I want to take a couple of minutes to highlight some of the things that he's really doing.
You gotta,
You know what I mean?
get that out of him, right?
Yeah, you gotta pull it out of him. This guy is all over the place. I mean, he's doing real things with real people. Talk about some of the things that you're doing in the community. Like, because a lot of people talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They talk about, but they're too scared to go into places where the work needs to get done. Tim is actually in these places, communicating with these folks, creating relationships. Because, I mean, I'm from the streets too. So there's certain things like, some dudes aren't going to talk to police. Yeah. Personally, for me, I get agitated when I talk to police. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not even in the lifestyle. So, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? We're regular taxpayers. You know what I'm saying? So
I can't.
What Tim is doing, I think, beyond politics. Right. I mean, this dude is literally saving people's lives out here, because some of these situations that he's being the medium for is preventing somebody from getting slammed on the corner, from somebody from getting a knee on their back. So talk about some of those things that you're doing on a day-to-day, not just for city council, but just what you're doing for the neighborhood.
A lot of my journey started years ago, you know, trying to find what it is that I wanted to do after the service. I needed that action. I needed that adventure, but I needed to find out what was it. So when I went to LA and I sat down with Melvin Farmer, and I started understanding just the Crips from a different perspective, right? From the inception of Crips from that perspective, and the way they think. And I started understanding this is not just a culture, it's a thought process. And the reason why there's a disconnect between the community, the crime, the people in the streets, etc., is because we don't respect the other person's thought process. Just because we may disagree with what they do does not mean that they're thinking wrong, because they have a totally different thought process. That increased in me when I started thinking about one thing he said: you're either a victim or a suspect. That changed my whole life. That comment that he said, you're either a victim or a suspect.
Why did that change your life? Why did I hate you so hard?
Because when you kill somebody, you're going to get arrested. You're going to go to jail, and on your record, it's going to be a murder. What if you was going to be a victim? You can say self-defense all day, but if you can't prove it, you're going to jail for life. How many times has that happened in the neighborhood?
All the time.
But people don't want to respect that. They don't want to talk about that because the police write the narratives, not us. So it's important that we start writing the narratives. We start thinking that way. There's a way to engage with them. When I talk to them on Hollis or over here, I say, you know, when something goes down here, it makes it hot right here in this corner. And then they lose property value. And then when you take $100,000 from that house, multiply that by the 20 houses on this block, you almost $2 million lost on the block. It changed the way they thought of it about what they do in their hood and how they move in the hood. I said, another thing, in Long Island, it's probably the biggest hit for heroin. Remember last year, heroin was like the craziest thing. But it was hitting Long Island. Long Island does not look like Queens.
No.
Yeah,
they have houses, backyards, smooth roads, right? You can park without getting a ticket. But why is that? It's the way they treat their community. So it's not for me to condone any kind of activities, but it's for me to push that. I can even tell, even though street of the street, let's protect our community this way, make it look like this, and it stops the cops from being in here harassing us unnecessarily. And that's kind of like what I'm pushing. That's what I'm preaching.
And that's what I felt like was so different that what he was doing, because a lot of people come and tell you that you're living your life in a foul way, and ultimately these people aren't from these situations. So for me, like, I've always been able to understand, you know, people from that life, because that's where I grew up. These are the folks that raised me. You know what I mean? So I get it. But what Tim's been able to do in building that bridge and helping them understand, like, yo, you know, you're not bad people. They're not bad people. But you guys got to figure out there's something that you're doing to them just by being out here. You know what I'm saying? And helping them understand that. Because I see it in other communities. Like, you know, when you think about gangs in the Asian community, like, there's a relationship. You know what I mean? They don't condone the behavior, but they acknowledge their existence. You know what I'm saying? And I think in us being able to get to where we need to get to, we can't leave gangsters out.
No.
Can't leave felons out.
You can't. You
You know what I'm saying? They got to come with us.
They people too. They're the ones with the knees on their neck. I say it every day. When we marching, you're marching for somebody that most likely has a record.
Facts.
People might say, yo, Tim, you associate with this, that, and third. Well, I'm sorry, I'm black, and the stats are probably 1 in 4 black men has a felony. And I'm probably the one. You understand?
Yeah.
Any room I walk into, a black man in that room has a felony. And it's a fact for me. And so I understand full well what goes on even behind the bars, right? The abuses of power that we don't see. The deaths, the people that are getting killed by law enforcement behind bars. We don't see that. So who's speaking for them? So when people see me angry and see me lash out, and they see me, maybe curse out a cop here and there at public speaking, it's not because it's just me. It's because I'm representing a lot of people. I'm representing the ones with the knees on their neck. You understand? That's who I represent. Because it's still somebody's son that owns a house up the block, right? He still has a mother. He still has a father. He may have children. He may have a wife. And they're homeowners and they're taxpayers too. But life is more important than any of this. If we talk about quality of life, I guarantee you care about your son coming home at night more than you care about the trash getting picked up.
Facts. Without a doubt.
If we could fix the life issue, we can fix everything else.
Yo, I like that. There's
hell yeah, that's big because, like you said, man, a lot of people got opinions, but they don't have the experience, so they don't know how to handle a situation. When you got Tim, he's coming in, he got the experience. He might not have the answers, but he got ways to solve a problem. Like you said, y'all got to figure it out. Y'all got to do this, and that. He's showing them a different side, so it's
communicating,
they get a better perspective of what they get into.
Building that bridge. For sure. You guys, it's like I don't want to dominate the conversation. You guys want to ask anything? Not you, Dev.
I mean, how's the push for city council? How does that work? What's the next steps now?
What's the next steps, Leah? I see her looking at me. What's the next steps?
Right now, we're trying to get these donations up.
That's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
It's all about donations.
So where can people donate?
They can donate at friendsoftimturane.com.
Can you spell it out for them?
So friends, FRIENDS of OFTIMTURANE.com. You could donate. We can continue to do the hard work that we're doing. None of that money has even been touched. That people have donated. I thank everybody that has donated. But that's going to go in towards the marketing that we have to do, paying the people to canvas, phone baking, different things that's going to have to happen to make sure we get that seat back. And when I keep saying we, because I'm not running, right? People say, oh, what are you going to do? Whatever the people that elected me tell me to do. And that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not going in there I'm not coming here telling you, this is what I want to change. This is the agenda. Here's everything. No, I'm coming to you with the problems that I recognize first. This is what I recognize that I'm experiencing. What are your problems? So that we can fix that too. Not maybe. We're going to fix that too. We got to start holding our elected officials accountable. But a lot of people don't understand accountability. I understand accountability from 13 years in combat. As a combat veteran, I understand my accountability. I take responsibility for everything that I've ever done in the service. Reason? Because my platoon sergeant, you might know him, Sergeant Major McLean, right?
Sergeant Major.
A lot of people think that he was like.
Shout out to Sergeant Major.
Like
definitely.
It was always like the good old boys club. Well, I wasn't in the good old boys club, but there was like another club, right? It was the protected club. Like, I didn't have to be in the good old boys club, but I was protected, kind of, right? Sergeant Major McLean said one thing to me while I was in Iraq. He's like, listen, you're going to still get in trouble no matter what you do.
That's the truth.
But if I know about it, it's not going to be as harsh.
If you tell me the truth up front, yeah, that was always this thing.
So you always got the truth for me. So if I cursed out another Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major, before he let you know, I cursed the dude out. I didn't know he was a Sergeant Major, and he was a Sergeant Major. He's mad. He's on his way over here. He'll take that. And that's kind of the accountability. It's just saying, I did this. Yeah, I did that. My record is transparent. It speaks for itself. You're going to be able to see it. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because it's about time. At least you're going to have one. At least in District 27, you're going to have one person that can say, that's on me. Not one leader, right? Like de Blasio calling himself the greatest mayor ever.
He called himself that?
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah, the other day.
Wildin', yo.
Yo,
He is wildin'.
he need to put the blunt down, yo.
I don't know what.
I don't know what he got going on.
Shit.
Open the paper up, brother.
Yo, these elected officials need to take responsibility for their decisions, their leadership decisions that they made. I respect that more. And so I'm somebody that's willing to take that responsibility. And that's why I'm doing this. Just to take responsibility for things that other people.
And tell the people what you're doing again, just so they're clear.
What?
Running
For city council? Oh, yeah. We're running for city council, District 27 here in Jamaica, Queens. Jamaica, St. Albans, Cambria Heights, Hollis, parts of Springfield Gardens. And
outside of donations, when's the actual primaries?
2021 February, and then you have the actual election 2021 November. So right now, I'm on the ballot. You might have seen my name on the ballot for judicial delegate, which thank you to our community first for helping me get the petitions, the number of signatures to get on the ballot.
And what's your judicial delegate?
They nominate the Supreme Court judges for Queens.
Got you.
So the ones that are allowed to be voted on, we make sure, just like the electoral school, the
Electoral college.
Yeah, school. The electoral college, same thing here. We do that for judges in Supreme Court, and it's important that we select the right judges, because if you look at who's on the ballot, and I just found out who else was on the ballot for the same positions, and it boggles my mind, but that's neither here nor there. But it's elected officials that are running for a judicial delegate, which kind of blew me away. It's like, you're a congressman, you're a senator. Why y'all judicial delegates too? This should be the people.
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest.
You have a council member running for
Yeah.
it. Like, you're a council member, he's running for judicial delegate, and he's running for district leader. And he's already a council member. It's just weird to me. This shouldn't be. And it's like that because they pick and choose who knows about what's going on in government. So it's about time. Someone like me, we're in the secular world. And so when we talk about it, it pisses everybody off because everybody knows now. Because, like, we regular people. Like, if Tim doing that, it must be true. Why you know about that? Yeah. And we messing them all up. So they think they just need 10,000 votes to win. No, they're going to need all 700,000 voters in Queens to vote from here on out. That's the goal for 2021. 700,000 people going out there to vote, not the 10,000 that actually go out to vote. So that's not representing Queens at all. And that's why we have potholes and stupid stop signs, and we got knees on our neck, because we don't have everybody voting. Not just voting, but we're not just following along. You got to be an intelligent voter. Read. Stop following along with the speaking points. Stop thinking that because he came to your church, he must be a great guy. Nah, you need somebody that's raw and serious. I'm raw, serious, direct. I might say some things you do not like, but at least you know I'm telling the truth.
Yo, put a round of applause to that man right there.
Hell yeah, cut that shit up.
Yeah, legit.
Vote for Tim.
Yo, vote for Tim. I can't tell you to do that, but yeah, y'all should listen to the podcast. Conceited Nobody. Facebook, Instagram. Yo, Aaliyah, you were talking about you guys did a Black bar crawl a little while ago, or Black business crawl.
Black business crawl. Yeah,
so tell us about that. And
it was nice. It was on Merrick Boulevard. We took a couple hundred residents, Black residents of Queens. We just walked up Merrick Boulevard and shopped at all the Black-owned businesses along Merrick. It was like you at the mall. You know what I mean? You go over there, get some food, go buy some clothes, get a smoothie, and we just all out in the street.
Did you discuss with the owners prior to?
Yes. I told all the owners that we were going to come. We had a map, and we went in different groups. And
what was that like? Because I know a lot of the owners in Queens know each other. Yeah. So tell me about those relationships, those initial conversations that you're having with these folks. I'm sure they're looking at you like,
I don't think they got it.
Because they probably like, what you want to do? What
you want to do? Cross?
Because they West Indian too. Like, what? What talk about?
They didn't get it. They didn't get it at all.
So how'd you sell it?
I didn't. I was like, listen, and a lot of them were like, so were you asking me for money? What do I have to pay? What do I have to do? And I was like, no, I'm just letting you know that if 50 to 100 Black people come in here all at the same time on Saturday, this is the reason why. Do not be alarmed. Yeah. This is the reason why.
Coming to support.
And they just didn't think that, they've never seen that. They're not used to things like that. So it was very interesting. I've made good friends with a lot of the business owners from that. And they were just like, oh my God. Thank you so much. Yeah, and they were very grateful for it.
So now, is it going to be an annual thing now?
I mean, I think it should be a couple times a year. There should have been one in June, but obviously we couldn't do that. But what we are doing is something similar next week for Juneteenth, where we're trying to do more of a virtual crawl. So, it'll be similar to this, and we'll have the business owner come and we'll interview them for 5 minutes, put their website on the screen and kind of direct people to go buy from them. And then, another business owner will come, we'll have a performer. So we're trying to put something together for next week, Friday, that will kind of mimic that, because most people in the group understand, to be a part of this, I have to shop at some Black businesses.
Yes,
so they just give them the information.
Yeah.
They're like, what should I do with this $20? Let me know.
What time can people expect that?
That's going to be next week. Let me look at the flyer. I'm
next
sorry.
Friday?
And where you guys?
This is virtual, so it's going to be online. You can register. I'll send you the link. And you can join us. So let me get the exact time. Here it is.
And we'll post it on the Casino Nobody group page and
Yeah,
Facebook
this episode
page.
should be out before that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure. It'll be out before that.
Awesome. This is 6:30 next week.
6:30 next
Yes.
week. And how?
Was that June 19th?
June 19th. Yep,
June
Juneteenth.
19th.
And there'll be a presentation about Juneteenth. There'll be, libations. There'll be drummers and dancers. And in the middle of that, we'll promote some Black businesses.
Yeah, I
lit.
I love that. So,
Nice.
and then are you guys in the next quarter, as we open up and then phase
Yeah.
2, phase 3 hits? Are you planning another Black business crawl?
Yes. I mean,
course.
the virtual stuff is it's nice. It's different.
Yeah.
but I
Because you
wanna-
guys do it well. I must say,
Yeah,
I'm like,
you know?
yo, these folks. On the side note, Black Resource Network, they got like two or three people managing laptops. She's like, she had a laptop. She's like command and control. Like, you do this, hit that. What that about? What's the time hack? Where is he at? Yo, I loved it. I sat back, was like, yo, she's a
Like a
boss.
cable news
You
network.
had to do it. You got to make it work. We're ready to work together, man. So you got to create the space for that.
So
But yes.
in the next quarter, because I know a lot of the Black businesses in Southeast Queens, a lot of them know each other.
Yeah.
If they're listening now, if they want to be a part of it, if they want to reach out, how do they do that? How do we add on to what you have going on?
Yeah, contact me at the Black Resource Network, info@blackresourcenetwork.com, BLAQUE, BLA for Black, QUE for Queens. And let's go. Join the group. Come get this money.
And give people an idea of what a crawl is like. Explain to them what that experience
So
is
a
like.
crawl is we all meet up at one location, we sign in, and then we just kind of break off into teams. And they're about, we'll pick maybe 20 businesses in one area, and we'll just take different groups kind of crossing over, meeting the business owner.
you guys are
that's
walking?
requested. Shopping, yes. There's a sweet spot on Merrick, I want to say between 224 and maybe 232. There are just a lot of Black owned businesses just in one space. So it's a beautiful location for it. We'd like to be able to do this in Hollis as well and kind of discover some other neighborhoods. But that one we're lucky to have just that many businesses concentrated in one area, and it made the crawl so easy, and it was beautiful weather that day.
Yeah, I've seen the photos.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
yeah.
dope.
Yeah,
Brooklyn
people-
does something similar. Go ahead,
Yes,
right?
they do.
Sorry.
People are gonna be real excited because we're everybody locked up inside.
Yeah.
the businesses are starting to open real
and
soon.
because
so
of
this-
just the climate of everything now, people are just pushing to buy Black. And
people
that's-
can't wait to support.
That's just
Yeah,
communities
exactly.
from all over Queens. We had a group
Mm-hmm.
in Sunnyside and a group in Astoria that was like, listen, our members want to come to this Juneteenth and learn what that is and shop Black and give you money and, let's do this. So this is the perfect time for it.
And that's what I love about your space, because like even in going into her space, shout out to Tim for not telling you about nowhere where you're going. You know what I mean? I'm thinking it's gonna be some like outdoorsy thing. Sure, we in the crib.
No.
Tim give you the look like, we here, right? I told you we was coming. Yeah, I didn't tell you all this other shit though.
No,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
But
let's go.
you guys were really welcoming. I never felt any negative vibes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And me, like being a stranger in somebody's house, I'm gonna look at you wild crazy. Like, who's this person? So I love the energy about the Black Resource Network because it's very welcoming. You guys engage your user population.
Yeah.
And I like to see, like, for me, in my mind, I'd imagine you guys being like worldwide.
I
like,
mean, that would be that'd be amazing. I hope there's money that comes with this worldwideness.
You know what I'm saying? With these old donations.
Byron Allen says $1 trillion in the sky. You
Listen,
just gotta reach out and
just
get
get
it.
it.
Just get it. Tell us some more about the things, like, 'cause you said a lot of things about your vision in the future. Like,
Yeah.
tell us about Black Resource Network's growth.
Listen, what I want to see for Black Resource Network are the members in Black Resource Network say, okay, this is something we want to work on. We want to start a farm, and find other people in Black Resource Network to come together and start this farm. platform. You know, this is supposed to be, it's a networking group. It's a virtual co-working space. So hopefully we can find like-minded people to make some stuff happen. My job is to make sure we get some kind of property that we're able to do all of these wonderful ideas in. So that's
you're looking to buy a building?
Exactly. I mean, we'll probably start with houses that are in commercial districts so they can kind of work as both just because they're easier to manage.
Are you trying to do like a commune thing where people pull in? And
absolutely. We can crowdfund and get some property. You know, we repping all these hoods that we don't own.
Sure.
How can we own these properties? And just collectively do things together. Like, you know, the biggest thing I see now in the group is that we need a nail salon. All right, well, let's go. Yeah. Like, there's nail techs in here. There's people with money in here. Yeah. There are businesses that know how to get the business license. This is easy. There's 6,000 of us. Can we put up $100 each? Like, and that's just something so simple, you know?
Can I ask a question? So then how are we working with Blaque banking?
Sure. We were having discussion with Blaque banking, and that brings up a great point that you should come out tomorrow to our rally to talk about economic injustice, because that will be, we have people from banking coming out to kind of discuss that area as well, because you can't leave out that component of Black economics.
Which banks is giving you guys some love?
So we haven't gotten any love yet.
Okay. We'll make some noise.
Who on the banks? Who on the banks?
Hopefully they'll see this podcast.
I don't know which one is it.
We gotta get some.
I'm gonna give a shout out to a bank.
Which one? Yeah.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Dutch Bank.
Deutsche Bank.
Okay.
I apologize. It's spelled DEU.
Dutch Bank.
Dutch Bank.
Deutsche Bank. Yeah.
Deutsche Bank. Okay.
Deutsche Bank. Yeah.
They actually are, like, I'm doing this thing through Kiva. It's the first time I'm talking about it, right? And I wanted to share with it in the group. I didn't do it yet, but I didn't know whether or not it's real, right? You know, you go through there, they say no interest loans or no interest grant money, this, that, and third. You don't really know if it's real, so you don't want to be the guy to say everybody do this and everybody's mad at you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I started this back in March, and it all went through. And this bank is matching every donation I get.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's what.
And I'm like shocked. Wow. I'm like, for what? Wow. So I don't know if it's a Black bank. But all I do know is that they matching everybody that donate. Whatever they donate, they're matching that amount.
That's beautiful.
Which I'm like, whoa, that's a big deal. Yeah. So shout out to Dutch Bank. There are banks out there. Yeah. I just brought some stock in Carver Bank.
I have stock in Carver.
It's Black managed.
Yeah.
So it's not Black technically owned anymore.
It's not Black owned anymore?
No, because it's publicly traded, so it's not owned.
Oh, nobody owns it.
Yeah, okay.
So
but it's Black managed.
Yeah.
You know,
Black
the
managed.
CEO and the board is Black.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I still count them. My money's at Carver.
We got, when I brought it at $1.
No, Carver's stocks are doing good this week.
Yeah, it went up to 209. I was like,
Carver's at 209.
Yeah,
I think I bought some Carver too. I bought
check on your Carver.
Yeah, I might check some Carver. You told me about Carver.
Wait. Y'all talking about stock? Put me on.
Carver Bank. He told me Carver Bank was at $1, and I was like, I got business accounts with Carver. So I'm like, oh shit, let me go with Carver.
It doubled. Carver was looking great this week.
Although the Conceded Nobody is not responsible for anybody that loses their money.
We're not giving out tips.
I'm just saying,
this is not, this is not that kind of show.
You on your own.
You're on your own.
Take your own risks.
Pivot real quick. Have you guys seen the Dave Chappelle thing?
I saw enough of it last night. Yes,
loved it.
I hear you on that enough of it part.
I saw enough. Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
Loved it. I don't know about you, but I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
I didn't hate it. I thought it was a comedy. I really didn't know when I was like, he made me mad. What? This is supposed to be a comedy. Then I was like, oh, it's not a comedy. This is just an airing kind of. All right, so then I understood it.
I think that was great. Point.
Yes, no, it was.
Like, we're so accustomed to Dave Chappelle being a comedian,
right? And I think he addressed that. Like, I'm a person,
and part of it is like when you think about comedians, when we don't feel good, we look to them to make us feel good, right? And like you said, we neglect the human component.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like he's a comedian, but before he's a comedian, he's Black.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we want him to skip and dance, and it's like if we're both uncomfortable, that's one thing. But he, like he said, he's like, Don Lemon, or whoever the pundits are, want to know what the celebrities are thinking. He's like, no.
Wow.
The streets are talking right now.
Right. Yeah, what can we say?
Exactly. Right?
He addressed that. Yes.
The streets are saying.
I loved it, and
I think that was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I love Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant is a basketball player. I love, even when we talk about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has his own individual interests, and with someone like Dave Chappelle, we're still looking for him to make us feel good. And as you pointed out, it was 30 minutes of like, no, I don't feel good. I'm not here to make you feel good,
Yep.
and I'm gonna purposely make you feel uncomfortable
That's
to remember
exactly
that
what
before I'm a
happened.
Loved it.
comedian, before I'm getting a Netflix check, before I'm Dave Chappelle, the jokester. I'm Dave Chappelle, the man, and here's what that means.
Yep. That's exactly what it was.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I think it was the best thing that he could ever did.
Yeah.
He brought attention to something I've been talking about, especially on the documentary that me and Joe both show up in.
The New Patriots.
The New Patriots.
Out on Amazon right now.
Shameless plug. Okay. All right. The Oscars reached out to us.
Shut up! If I get nominated for an Oscar,
Y'all got
it's
nominated.
over, son.
The Oscars reached out to me. I can't get. They
got
reached out to me.
nominations?
Yo, but it's us, right?
Yo, I just need to be associated. I don't need nobody to say my name.
And so definitely got the permission to submit it for an Oscar. So I'm hoping that at least
That's
the story we don't have the best tech, visually on it. Wasn't the most beautiful, but I believe
thought it
the
was
story was like it's still relevant to today, especially watching it back. Certain topics we talked about, the Black lives, everything. We've been Black all our life, so we're always relevant. So Dave Chappelle, that series, I watched it yesterday on my phone. When I say on my phone, it was an Instagram. Somebody sent it on my Instagram and said, yo, check this out. And it was an Instagram story. So I was able to watch it on IGTV. I watched the whole half hour straight. He brought up something, Black veterans.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that he put Black veterans on that kind of platform.
Mm-hmm.
He has given us the voice because of what I've been saying, and it's not tooting our own horns, but what I've been saying is that Black veterans are the leader of this future. No matter what you feel, no matter what, we're the only ones that's actually willing to do whatever it takes.
That makes sense.
We fought wars in the street. We fought wars for the government. And now we're fighting an internal war just with our people. Our people should be respected.
Yeah.
And we know that to be the right thing to do.
We're this movie's standing army.
So we're trying to say
That makes a lot of sense.
we don't want to kill them. We don't want to run shooting cops. But like I said in the documentary, you understand?
The New Patriots out on Amazon.
Go see it.
Go see it.
I never thought about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really particular. Like because as a veteran, the government teaches you it's a double-edged sword because you go into boot camp, and the idea of boot camp is to raise you up and elevate you and show you your greatness, right? Mm-hmm. And in them showing you your greatness, they then challenge you to do things that you never thought would be possible, right? And then you go into a space and you survive it. And you come out to a country, and then you look at things differently. Yeah. Because now it's like, we could both die here. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Everyone's not ready.
Everybody's not ready. But once you cross that line, it's go time. Mm-hmm. Do something. You know what I mean? And I think, and I agree with you totally because it definitely sat with me too. It resonated for me. I felt like he was talking to me personally. You know what I mean? Because it's something where it's like, yo, everybody's not ready. We talked about earlier, everybody's not ready to go to war. So a lot of people aren't ready to be uncomfortable, but some of us are.
Mm-hmm.
Totally ready. Cool with it. I think if people know that. I got a DM, and I'm like totally humbled by it. I never thought I would hear that ever in my life because I'm far from activist. I don't look at myself as a leader of the Black people. But this DM, it was somebody from the March in Forest Hills. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pull it up because I don't want to paraphrase what they said. Just give me 2 seconds. I can't believe they even wrote this to me. The name was TT. So shout out to TT. And it says, "Hi Tim, I heard you speech at the event at McDonald Park on Sunday. Mm-hmm. I thought to myself, quote, look at the modern day Malcolm X. End quote. I felt it. Thanks for saying what needed to be said." Like, I wasn't up there trying to be Malcolm X. I'm not up here I don't read books like everybody else do. I'm not a reader of constant books. I'm not going to quote anything, all right? I'm going to live life.
We're going to get him to start reading, though.
I'm not going to quote anything.
We're going to work on that.
I'm not going to quote anything. I'm not going to do it.
Just expand your mind.
It's still early in life.
The thing is with me is that I'm able to sit down with people that write these books. I sat down with Melvin Farmer, Glenda Spencer, Jerry Wonder. I talked to these people for 3-4 hours. Akon, eating dinner with him, 2-3 hours. You understand my lifestyle? I don't need to read books. I talk to the people that write these books. Mm-hmm. You understand? As you should. I'm gonna promote reading books. Don't not read books.
You should read books.
Everyone doesn't have the life that I've been able to be afforded with.
If you don't have access to black royalty, you should be.
There you go. If you don't have the access, Leonard Ellaby. I've had a conversation with him, and he's Mayweather's manager. These are people that have talked to me, and I'm able to take a lot from them.
I understand what you're saying. Just the value of life experience.
The value of life. So to hear that from somebody at that time was like, whoa, that's crazy.
I do want to say, though, there's a power in books. I'm reading a lot of books because we do this every generation. Nothing's new under the sun.
Right.
So many of us before, when we talk about, you look at C.J. Walker, right? Everybody says C.J. Walker's the first black man, but she's not. The first one really is Annie Turnbull. Annie Turnbull is C.J. Walker's boss. Annie's the real boss of all bosses, and she was solidified wealthy. So I think, and a lot of when I'm reading her books and reading about the Prince of Darkness, Jeremiah Hamilton, who's one of the first black Wall Street millionaires, they all went through the same things that we went through. You know what I'm saying? And I can pull from the experience and be like, oh, you did this. Because a lot of the shit's exactly the same, unfortunately. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So whether you were black in the 1800s, black in the 1900s, or black in the 2000s, it's the same experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Police hate you, government hates you, can't get no loans, neighborhoods depressed.
Yep.
So you can look and see, because a lot of them, they tell you the story of perseverance. They tell you the story of how they came and brought their community together in order. Annie has a product. Annie is the first generation a woman out of slavery and is just trying to do her cousin's hair and realizes that, there's no products out for black women's hair. And she gets chemistry books and she goes out and there's a community like Witch Doctor, which is basically a black woman that knows chemistry that white folk don't like to call chemistry, but so they call her a witch doctor. And she has some elixirs that help heal wounds. Because what happened was the enslaved folks that came out of slavery, they had lesions on their hair. So because of these lesions, they had no health. There was no hygiene. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you're free now and you have to think about daily hygiene. Because before it wasn't, you were property. So nobody cared about you shaking a shower. Yeah. Get out there and pick that cotton. Yeah. So now these black women are trying to think about beauty. There is no beauty for anything black, period. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even know what beauty looks like for you because you've always been just an object. Right. So Annie, in this early time period, she goes out, she gets the chemistry books, she goes to the witch doctor, and she makes the first hair pomade. You know what I'm saying? And then she takes it to black women. What it does really is just it heals the lesions and allows hair to start growing back. And she starts giving that to black women in the neighborhood and realize she makes a little change or whatever. But her dream is to empower black people, which is, I think, is very different from capitalism, where capitalism is more of a resource. There's a limited set of resources, so I have to take from everybody and not allow nobody else to have, because if you have, I can't have. Where for us, and when you look at these books and you look at the way we embody capitalism, it's more of I have to empower you to win. You know what I'm saying? So Annie Turnbull says, because there's no market for black people. You can't, she ain't gonna walk into a general store and be like, hey, whitey, sell my shit. Yeah. Annie has to go to black people and say, and she just can't go to black people. Black people don't trust her. Same thing today. Black people don't trust her because she's a black person. They don't think that she has the knowledge to be able to tell them what to do with their hair. So Annie has to literally, before church on Sundays, go to these women and beg them to just do their hair, because everybody's wearing wigs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, when wig was fucked up, because she was a hairstylist too. Yeah. So she's like, you know what, girl, your wig is fucked up. Look, I'm gonna do this to your hair. We'll do this wig for you, pro bono on me. Let me use my cream. Over time, these women their hair started growing. And then what she decided to do was empower these women and say, look, I'm gonna give you this product. She doesn't have any copyrights, anything like that. That's how C.J. Walker is able to steal her formula. I'm gonna give you this product. You go out into the communities and evangelize and tell other black women about what's going on. And they take that same model and they grow. C.J. Walker just happens to be somebody who's a star earner. You feel me? And then we take that and say, yo, she's the first one. But reading the books, we can see what our ancestors has done before us and pull from that. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Yep. Ain't shit really changed. No. So we've been saying ain't shit changed and we're trying to get change, but also ain't shit changed. Yep. So we can go back and look at what Malcolm did. Look at what Martin did. Yep. Look at what Marcus Garvey did. Look at what Annie did. Look at what Jeremiah did, and say, yo, we can do the same shit now in 2020. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It still applies.
We just use cell phones instead of this.
Zoom.
With Zoom. But the process is that they laid it out for us in their stories. Right. So shout out to that.
Just gotta read them books.
Gotta read them books.
No, read the books. Understand. I got 3 degrees. I'm cooling out all the time. I had to read.
You had to read a book.
Yeah, you had to read a book.
But I love listening to.
You
the
don't
stories
rely on them. You're not putting quotes out.
I'd rather find who wrote the book and actually sit down with them. I always do that.
The Dave Chappelle shit, like, yo, Red, what'd you think about it, Red? I know you say you liked it, but give me some thoughts on it.
I loved it because at first I'm just thinking, all right, Dave Chappelle practicing comedy, because they even made a note of this is the first time he's performed in months.
Yeah.
And he made it a note that this is like the first concert in the country. You saw how they had it set up with the social distancing.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that being what a concert
new,
is in the
right.
future, but it is what it is.
I am.
And, and the fact that it wasn't a stand-up.
Yeah.
Like, he was practicing little material here and there with the book, but it was him venting and getting shit off his chest.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, letting the people know why we're so upset. And he humanized it to where, like, the people, like, it's a lot of people, like the Fox News people, how they saying, oh, they're stealing Nikes and this and that. Why they're destroying all this property? Because they don't get it.
Right.
And if you can't get it after what Dave Chappelle said, then you're never
wanna
gonna
get
get it.
You're never gonna get it.
You're not part of it.
Yeah. That's good. That's good thoughts.
Because he made the perfect example when the cops showed up to kill the man in the cabin.
Yeah.
400 of them showed up. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they got one of theirs.
How can you not understand the
How can you
reverse of
not
that?
understand
Right,
that?
right.
You know, like, and I know Red might appreciate
That right
this. 'Cause
there.
I know he's a big wrestling dude. It's like how people they think there's only a Raw, SmackDown, and then whatever monthly show there is, and it's like, nah. Let me show you the house shows and show this shit ain't easy.
Yeah.
Like you think this is a game because you only think about the pay-per-views,
Yeah. the big
SmackDown
stuff.
and Raw.
Yeah, that was him doing a workout.
There's
That was a
signing.
workout before you see the big show, the
Yeah.
big stand-up.
Right.
That was him working it out. That's before it's months of that. And only he could do that. He's raw enough to just put that shit out there.
Right.
That's a throwaway set to any other comic.
For free.
He just did that for a handful of people for a half hour in the middle of a field.
Loved
That
it.
shit get thrown out, but he put that shit out and
Loved it.
it's amazing.
Yo, it's been a good week talking to you guys, yo. I want to give a special shout out to Black Resource Network. Go ahead and let the people know where they can find you. Spell it out for them because they're listening to this.
Sure. Black Resource Network at gmail.com or info@blackresourcenetwork.com. We're on Facebook, Black Resource Network, BLAQUE Resource Network. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. Just Google Black Resource Network and you will find us.
And the community is in the group, right? That's where most people gather, you say?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, everybody's
In the group.
You're Black and from Queens. and you're active in the community.
Yeah.
You gotta be in the group. There's 6,000 of us in there.
Whew, shout out to that, yo.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a good group.
Yeah, with about 1,500 in the queue that I have to kind of sift through
Yeah,
and make
sorry
sure
about
you're,
that.
you're on
You're on
understand the
message.
vision. Yeah, on
Yeah.
message. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. But we'll wait. We'll get you in there.
We'll get you there.
Yeah.
And Tim, tell the people where they can find your webpage, what you need them to do. How can we help you get to city council?
Yeah, make donations.
Make donations right now. That's where we're at. friendsoftimterrain.com. Go to the site. Make a donation, whether you live in district or out of district. I'm just happy to anybody that donates. $5, $10, $20.
Let's get it.
Anything.
I mean, it's New York City.
He fighting for you, man. He fighting for you.
You know, and that's where
can't-
I'm at with it. That's all we need right now. I'd rather be out here supporting my girl here, Leah, whatever she do. That's where I'd rather be. That makes me happy all day. Like, that's what I want to do. And that's the type of people we want around in the Black Resource Network. That's why you see the love, because everybody has that same mindset. This is what they want to do.
It's genuine.
That's it. We
Yeah.
can figure out ways to make money doing it. That's great too.
That's a bonus. It has a big bonus.
You guys got any final thoughts?
I just want to tell a story about Tim.
Go ahead.
Yes, story. I love stories.
Not
Love
so-
story.
I need you to understand the type of person Tim is. So we had a giveaway last week, right? So after we're out in the hot sun all day giving out about 800 boxes of this food, I don't know how randomly somebody got a phone call from somebody that they had 700 meals to give out, and they were supposed to go somewhere, but there's a protest, and do they know anybody can give us 700 meals? This was maybe the first night of curfew. So the first night curfew was 8 o'clock. I think it was 11 and then 8. So it's 6 o'clock. And Tim was like, we could do it. And I was like, how are we going to
That's
give
Tim.
out 700 meals before curfew? He was like, yo, that curfew. And we went out and we took tables and just put it up. And first we went to God Brew on 108. Just a table on the sidewalk.
Godbrew 109.
109. Then we went to American 109. Then we went to Hollis. Then we went by the train station by 179.
Hillside 179.
Tim, we out there just randomly giving people out. And I'm like, yo, what does Tim have me out here doing? Past curfew, F the rules, giving out hot foods to the community. He was like, no, we got to do it. Forget about curfew. We can't waste this food.
Yeah, that's
people
a fact.
need this food. We got 700 boxes, and we're going to give it out. And we did it that night, man.
Man, that's somebody I need in city council. I don't know about y'all.
We did it that night.
Somebody I need
That's
representing.
the man of the
What's,
people
what's
right
more
there.
important right now? We're going to waste this 700 people could eat? Or we going to have to tell the cops what we did? And the cops came by. They just passed us. No, that was it.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope, man.
Yeah. Because I wasn't going to go.
She was just riding out.
I was like,
I thought she really wanted to be there. She was like, yeah, let's go do it. Because it's always love.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I mean, but if they ask me first.
Yeah. I dedicated to you first. You're like,
I'm tired. I did
yeah.
that already today. But I was like, all right, you know what? We can't waste this. And Tim was like, nope.
That's what's up. That's
Yep.
what's up. You got some final thoughts?
Dope.
Yo, love each other. That's really it. Love each other. That's my final thought. Oh, Monday, Bridging the Gap for our youth. We're hosting that event in Roy Wilkins Park from 3 to 4:30. It's a response to the SYEP cancellation. The Summer Youth Employment Program has been canceled this summer.
Yeah.
So we're responding to that with a program of our own, Bridging the Gap. We have put together resources of businesses that are hiring in Southeast Queens. Of course, partnership with J Moore Realty, Nadine Morency Mose, who's the spearhead and a visionary for the event. Councilmember Donovan Richards, Councilmember Farrah Lewis, myself, that's Tim Turane, not a council member yet.
Not yet. We'll get you
Not
there.
yet, not yet.
And
We're gonna make
a
that
bunch of other organizations and companies who are coming together. Leah's going to be there, so
I
Blaque,
definitely
she's a
will.
famous, so she's going to be there speaking.
If that helps.
We
Celebrity
also
speaker.
have Beyonce's publicist is going to be there. LL Cool J's manager is coming out. Going to talk about the team, the basketball tournament that's supposed to be going on this summer. It will still go on.
It's still going on? That's
Yo,
awesome.
that's that. So they're going to talk about all that, how to get everybody involved.
Yeah, cool.
So that's what's going on. So it's some great things, and I can't wait for it. So that's Monday, Roy Wilkins Park, 3 o'clock to 4:30. Bring the kids. RSVP, Bridging the Gap for youth.splashthat.com.
All right.
Love it. Love it. You guys got anything you want to add?
Just one question. The best way to find out any gatherings, events, like you said about the
Black Resource
the
Network
program.
Instagram is the easiest kind of thing.
Instagram is the best one, Black
Yeah.
Resources Network on IG?
Yep.
All right. Good to
Put
know.
everything there.
And you said you guys have something that you're doing tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow is our rally against economic injustice on the steps of Queensborough Hall.
Okay.
Okay.
See you there. See you there.
Nice. Yeah.
Those of you listening, tomorrow
Follow
is
them.
not tomorrow for you
Yeah,
guys.
okay, so let's say this
Not tomorrow,
Sunday.
the date.
So a couple days ago, we did a rally.
Y'all gotta come back. We gotta keep
Queens
talking
are
about
all-
This whole
this.
show
Yeah.
over when you're dropping this.
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning coming out. Oh, you got to make your edit a little quicker because we just. So
These are
Monday
the
we
things
had.
We had a couple
Definitely the
days ago.
Juneteenth. If y'all listening
Yeah,
and it's
Friday.
not June 19th yet, get ready for a June 19th.
Yes.
June 19th Zoom party.
Yep, absolutely. We got
I'm gonna
DJ
definitely do my best
performers.
to get it out
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
Wednesday for you guys.
Cool.
There you go. Pull
Cool.
out.
We'll try.
You
A
know,
lot of drops. All right.
yo, Alex, you done?
Well, me, yeah, I'm soaking it up, man. I'm good. You know, I've definitely been educated on what's going on. I mean, I'm out of the 5 boroughs. You know, I dip in and out, always messing with Joe and Red, but to know what's happening with the Black Resource Network, and also your reach isn't just restricted to the boroughs, right? It's, as you said, you got that idea from people in Long Island,
Right.
or that was part of it, right? I don't say you got it from it, but
Right. It kind of motivated me. Like, I need something like this in Queens. We're different than what they do, but it was inspired by them. I can't take that away from them.
So that definitely is, you know, getting my gears turning as well.
Right. Because this is the blueprint that can work anywhere. you
Yeah,
know?
most of them are from Queens. It's FYI, those Long Island people are from Queens. They just moved to Long Island because they bougie. Remember that.
Yeah, if I show up, I'm from Brooklyn. So
All right now.
Thank you guys for coming. Black Resource Network, Friends of Tim
thank
Terrain.
you so much.
Yeah.
You guys got the info. Reach out.
Ciao.
Final words for me. Love yourself. Love God. God is love. Start from love, then it is God. Go out there and do great things.
That's it.
Conceited nobody.
All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Consider nobody.